When I first started thinking about money, I assumed that the solution was simple. Save more, spend less, invest early. It sounds obvious. But the more I looked around, the more I noticed something that didn't make sense. Most adults know that saving money is important, yet millions of people aren't doing it. So I started wondering, if saving money is such a common piece of advice, why is it so difficult for so many people to actually do? That question became the starting point for my research. At first, I assumed that people weren't saving because they were irresponsible. Then I came across an article by journalist Mark Sternfield discussing survey data from the lending tree. The survey found that 37% of Americans had less than $500 in savings. 14% had no savings at all. That statistic forced me to ponder how this could be possible. Maybe people were failing because they lacked discipline. Maybe many people simply didn't have enough left over after paying for necessities. Saving money becomes harder as gas, rent, groceries, and utilities become more expensive, but that explanation didn't tell the whole story. So I kept looking. The more sources I looked at, the more I realized that there were two different problems stopping people from saving money. The first problem is the flow of money. Many people genuinely struggle to cover basic expenses as costs rise. The second problem is knowledge. I started paying attention to people around me and even to my own habits. I noticed how easy it was to spend money without thinking where it was going. Small purchases didn't seem important at the moment, but over the weeks and months, they added up. That observation inspired me to seek out financial education. I began reading books, watching videos, learning how investing, budgeting, and taxes work. One source that stuck with me was Robert Kiyosaki's book, Increase Your Financial IQ. In the book, Kiyosaki argues that financial problems can become opportunities to develop financial intelligence. His idea is that instead of saying, I can't afford this, people should ask, how can I afford this? At first, I thought that sounded unrealistic. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized if we change the way we approach problems, we can change the results. Barack Obama, in his Choosing Hope speech, described seeing the future as something not out of our control, but as something we can shape for the better. And once I made that shift in thinking, I started making changes right away. The biggest thing I learned is that a financial foundation is not just money, it's knowledge. Many people imagine wealth as a giant pile of cash or a large investment portfolio. But before either of those can exist, people need to form the habits and understanding that actually makes that possible. Emergency funds, investing, avoiding high interest debt, and living below your means are not exciting strategies, they're foundations. Like building a house, the foundation isn't the part that anybody notices, but without it, nothing else can last. The people who build wealth over time are not always the people with the highest income. Often, they are the people who learn the rules of money early and consistently apply them. When I began this research, I thought the story was about saving money. What I discovered was the real story was about knowledge. Some people struggle because they don't earn enough. Others struggle because they never learn the habits that allow money to grow. The goal of financial security is still miles away from many people. But after researching this topic, I no longer think success only belongs to the people who start with more money. I think many winners simply start with more information. And sometimes, learning is the first step in the race.